We're going to be talking about our class as a whole and the various assignments and things that we have to do. I'm also going to give you an overview of kind of the approach and things that we're going to have to kind of keep running around in the back of our heads as we go along. This is for English 111, T02, the Writing, Research, and the Disciplines. We are a 12-week class, so it's going to feel like we're trying to play catch-up because basically we are. We have to end at the same time as everybody else, but we have 4 or 5 less weeks to do it in. We do get a spring break, normal Robeson Community College spring break time, so that's something to look forward to in March, and we'll kind of walk through things. If you haven't printed your syllabus for the course, please pause me and go do that. It'll be helpful for you to have that so you can kind of follow along and make notes for things that you need to ask me questions about or for things that you need to remember. This is our contract of sorts. We'll walk through this a little bit and then I'm going to talk to you about some other pieces to this. I've been teaching writing classes like this one, creating writing classes like this one for about 25 years, and so this is one of my favorite things to do in my life is to teach a writing course, and so this is going to be a fun time for us. I do want you to know that this is my first time using the Open LMS as the management system, and so I'm a little clunky at the moment, but we've been rescued a bit by my director, Ms. Newland, and so in the beginning of the course you'll see a few things that are her authorship and a few things that are my authorship, and then as we go along it'll be all me, and so I thank her and appreciate her for helping me out with that. I've only had the course for about a week, and so trying to get everything ready in that short period of time doesn't seem too bad, but it's a pretty steep learning curve for this kind of management system. So, but I'm wrapping my head around it, so it'll be fine. So if you have not passed or tested out of English 111, this is not the course for you. You need to take that one and pass that one first, and then come back to us in English 112. I think your advisors and folks have already settled all that, but that's a note I'm supposed to make. So in this course, you're going to review and improve in your development of essays and academic writing in specific. We're going to try to tailor things a little more specifically to your own discipline. And by your own, I mean the one your program resides in. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along, but just kind of keep that in mind that this is a course that builds on what you already know from 111, and so we will spend a little bit of time, in our case about a week, reviewing a bit from 111 and making sure that everybody's on the same page. So if it's been a while since you took 111, that's okay. We'll get you up to speed really quickly here, and there are all kinds of resources that you can use to supplement if you need to. One of the things that we're doing, I just flew my piece of paper across the room. That's okay. One of the things that we're doing is to help you get more organized in how you write paper, how you approach the writing process. We all have a process, whether we realize it or not, and figuring out what parts of your process work for you, and those you get to keep, and the ones that aren't working great for you, aren't giving you the results you need, then we're going to help you revamp those and rework those so that they will be good for you. We're also going to do an oral report. Don't stress. We can do everything from our learning management system. We can do everything from our LMS page in the classroom. It's click 2 buttons and make sure you have your camera on. No Band-Aid over it, no slidey guy. Make sure it's pointed in the right direction, kind of thing. And it will be at the end of the semester, so you have some time to panic about that. One of the things that we also practice a lot in this class, being that we're online, is being able to be responsible and considerate in our collaborative work. Whether you know it or not, the whole world out there is doing things virtually, of course, but also you're always part of a team. Even when you're freelancing and doing things, you still have a boss, you still have somebody who is going to want you to be productive in a particular way. And the faster you can adapt to those things, the better off you will be. And to put it pretty bluntly, the more money you'll make. So keep that in mind as you go along. You're learning how to work as a team. You will have some group work to do. Nothing will be graded as a group. It just helps to have a smaller set of folks to talk about papers and to look at each other's stuff and to get used to your writing style and what can happen and what cannot. We have 2 textbooks, and the first one is a handbook. It's called The Rules for Writers. It's a Diana Hacker book. Probably doesn't mean anything to you, but she's amazing, amazing. Was the first person to actually put handbooks together that had exercises and things to do and APA style and MLA and all that kind of stuff years and years ago. And we love her for that. This is the 9th edition. Please make sure it says 2020 APA update on the front. They have made a couple of changes to what they do in APA, and since that's the main focus for documentation in this course, it will help you to have the right one. Okay, so that's that one. Also, you need an insider's guide to academic writing. Your book, make sure it's the rhetoric and reader. The way they get at the different pieces inside each of the chapters is different depending upon whether you have the reader or not. And so this is Susan Miller Cochran, who has been at NC State, and now I think she's somewhere else. But anyway, excellent, excellent book. I know, I'm an English teacher, so I have to geek out a little bit about these things. This really does get at how to look at writing from both sides, from you as a writer, the other person as the audience, so that you can meet the needs and get across the point you really want to get across. We will read from this book. A lot of your quiz information will be taken from this book, so make sure you have that one as well. There, so I don't have to step on it anymore. Make sure that you also have a college level dictionary. Now I have dictionary.com, of course, is always available, but you can get the American Heritage Dictionary on your phone, and it's everything in the paperback version plus. It's very good. It's a college level dictionary. Dictionary.com will work in a pinch, but it's nice to have that little detail there. If you're a word geek like I am, the Oxford English Dictionary, the OED, is also available as an app. You do have to pay a subscription for that one, but I love it because it tells me where the word came from and when it's been used and how it's been used down through the time. Like I said, English teacher, gotta geek a little bit. Other requirements, you need to make sure that you have regular and reliable access to a computer connected to the internet. And I know things are weird in this current state of our pandemic. There are places on campus you can go for socially distanced and safe access. There is, I believe, going to be access from your car. If you're over by the student center, you can log in from there and never have to leave your car. There are also places out and about that do still have internet access, free Wi-Fi from places like McDonald's and Starbucks and those kinds of guys. Park in the parking lot and, you know, do what you gotta do. If you don't have internet at home, or if you just need to get away from home for a little bit, I gotta go do my homework, you know. Happy to help in that vein. Make sure that you can use, have access to Microsoft Office. That's a free click for you when you go to sign into your email. Office 365 is there for you because you're a student. Acrobat Reader is also free. That's for reading PDFs. PowerPoint comes with the Office 365, so you don't have to worry about that. It says here 2 different browsers such as Edge and Chrome. I would add to that, pick one of those as your primary and then also have access to Firefox. There are some situations where Firefox is the best one. Most of the time you can get away with either Chrome or Edge, whichever one you prefer. But it's nice to have that other open office kind of thing, because some of the stuff we do, some of the stuff the system does in Moodle, which is kind of the underlying system for our LMS, works really well on Firefox when all else fails. Choose Firefox. You need a USB stick, a thumb drive, a flash drive, whatever you want to call it, making sure that you can save and back up your computer files. Normal paper, pencil, that kind of stuff. It helps also to be able to use colors when we're annotating, when you're looking at research. I always use color. Sometimes they don't mean anything other than this is the color I have today. But when I'm doing research, I like to color code sources. I like to color code ideas, follow a thread through, the same colored sticky or whatever. Anyway, having colors helps. My apologies to those who are colorblind or red-green colorblind. I try really hard in the course not to use color so that you're not disadvantaged that way. There are a few places where I will bold things so you can see them a little bit better. One of those things is for homework. When you're looking at the list of things to do for the week, the things that are in bold are what I consider deliverables, stuff you have to give me in one form or another. It's also a good idea to keep all your papers and things printed out and in a folder. 3-ring binders work great because things don't fall out. You 3-hole punch them, you put them in there, they stay. It's good to keep all of that work until you get your grades, and honestly until you graduate. That's a good process. For our final grade, we have 2 major distinguishes. One is low stakes work, one is high stakes work. Low stakes work is the homework and drafts and discussion boards, forums, and all of that are the bits and pieces to get us to the high stakes work. And the high stakes works are things that are worth a percentage of your grade all by itself. We have the examination of a scholarly article, which will be part of that MLA review-ish thing. It's 5% of your grade. Your proposal is also 5% of your grade. The annotated bibliography is 15%. As you can tell, it's a lot of work. Your research paper is 20%, also a lot of work. And then the last thing is the lecture and analysis, which is 15% of your work. The presentation / lecture is 10%. The analysis is 5%. And I call it a paragraph, but paragraph-ish, more like a page. Robeson's grading policy is on a 10-point scale. So you have to get a 90.0 to get an A, not an 89.9, a 90.0, because there will always be folks who are above 100, so you really don't want me to scale that. Okay, 10 points each. Remember, if you're trying to transfer into a 4-year program, you're going to want to get a 70 or better. That's C that you need to transfer. D's count as passing, but they won't transfer to another institution. So do your best. That helps a lot. Let's see if I can put this down here without flinging it across the room. We don't have a final exam. We don't have exams, period. And part of that low stakes work also are, I think I have 4 quizzes here, mostly towards the beginning to make sure everybody's on the same page and to give you a little bit of incentive to finish things. The last day to withdraw from this class with a grade of W, which means not a grade penalty, is April 20th. There is a link to the student drop form on the syllabus, so if you need to drop before that date, that's where you do it. If you miss more than 2 weeks worth of work, and it doesn't have to be all together, and I'll get a little bit more on that as we go. Let's see. Oh, attendance is right here. The attendance, regular class attendance is expected of all students. Well, duh, you're in college, come to class. In our case, that means you need to post on time at least one of the assignments for the week. If you do that, I count you present for the week. Now, we will always have more than one thing to do in a week. Like I said before, it's a 12-week class, but we do 16 weeks worth of work. And so, we're kind of smushed in here. So you're going to do more than one thing at a time in a week. I will give you, hey, do this on Monday, hey, do this on Tuesday. But the reality is everything's due by Thursday night at midnight. And here's my reasoning for that. Here in the United States, we have 3 major religions, and their holy days are either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't want any of my students to feel like they should work on their holy day, because all of those religions encourage us to take a day off, to rest, to focus on God. And I don't want to have you believe that I'm picking on whatever religion because I'm making your stuff due on Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday night. I try really hard not to do schoolwork on my Sabbath day. I'm not always successful, but I try. And so I want to encourage you to give yourself a day off during the week as well. Help, to kind of get at that need for rest and recouping and just doing something different. And so I have things due on Thursday night, which may take a little bit of getting used to because I know a lot of instructors have things due on Sunday nights. And I understand they can grade on Monday. I like to grade and do work for classes Monday through Friday. My holy day is Sunday, and so I try really hard not to do things on that day. Although, like I said, I do occasionally leave myself no choice but to have to do some work on Sunday. I will count things as a week for those 4 days. Now, you can do assignments early, which I know, very funny, right? You can do things early. You can ask for an extension. And please know that I will not count work due in the first 2 weeks of class late. So get your stuff together, figure out your schedule, decide when you're going to do work for this class, and do it quickly. Figure out how you're going to work this in. This is one of those things where I'm taking this course on, like you're taking this course on, when it's not really the wisest thing we can do. We've already started our semester, and then we're adding this in. And so it'll be a little rough for all of us for the first couple weeks until we get into the groove. And that's okay. It's good work and it's stuff that we need to do. So we need to make time and figure out how we're going to fit this into our lives, or how our lives are going to fit this in. And to that end, I do take late work. I know that everybody has a life and things and responsibilities outside of school, and sometimes they're more important. They can't always be more important. School has to win sometimes. And so I won't count things. I will take late work. I'm going to say out loud that I would like it to be no longer than a week late. Anything more than a week late, unless we've made prior arrangements, we'll get a 0. And then we'll just move on from there. You can recover from a 0. Okay, so don't stress out too much about that. If God forbid COVID comes into your life, and you need to take time off, or you're ill, or your kid is ill, or your mom's ill, or whatever, you can get a withdrawal emergency, which gives you a little bit more grace for finishing things and for the payment of said finishing things. That's a whole other click on the website. So look at that, see what your options are. Hopefully you won't need to use it. I'm on page 4. I am available a lot. I am not available 24/7. I sleep occasionally. I have a husband and family and other courses that I teach. And so this is very important to me, and I will do my best to make it a priority. I tend to be up very early, and so I usually get my school time in when the house is quiet. And so you'll see things come across, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And often later into the day as well. I'm usually done or I make myself quit by about 4, because I get up at 5 a.m. 4 o'clock is really pushing a long day for me. So keep that in mind. If you email me, and that's really the only way you can contact me, email me or message me inside the program, inside the LMS, and I will get back to you at the very latest the next day. Now, if you message or email me late on Friday, you may not hear from me again till Monday. I try to get in on Saturdays, but that's family and chores and such. So I will look at email. I probably won't grade though until Monday. It'll be okay. We'll figure things out. We'll be kind to each other and figure things out. You have some academic resources there on page 4. Upswing is our new online tutorial service. You can schedule, you can do a walk-in, that kind of stuff. The Learning Center is still doing their thing. The library is still doing their thing. The IT help desk for tech support, for web advisor, for all kinds of things, they're still doing their thing. And there are numbers and links for you there on page 4. One of the things that we do take very seriously is academic integrity. And this goes beyond just plagiarizing. Academic dishonesty is the giving, accepting, or presenting of information or material by a student with the intent of unethically or fraudulently benefiting oneself or another on any work which is to be considered for a grade of the completion of academic requirements. Now, that's the official definition, right? Basically, if you help somebody else cheat, you're guilty. If you cheat, you're guilty. If you, look in that direction, really. Be careful, do your work, do your own work, and do your work with integrity, and you'll be fine. But page 4 into page 5 goes through all that mess, so have a party with that. Inclement weather doesn't bother us unless, of course, the college's servers go down, the power goes down there, and they have to turn things off. Then we have to talk. Usually not so much in the spring. This is like hurricane stuff. So if you have a disability and you need accommodations of any kind, please make sure you're looking at counseling and testing in the Student Center, and get the help that you need that can help you do well in class and get the accommodations that you need, things like closed captioning, extra time on tests, that kind of stuff. And unlike high school, there's no notation on your transcript that says you were a disability student. So take advantage of what you need to have, make it more fair for you to get your education, and work towards that. There is a whole list of things we don't discriminate against, and this is not limited to, but here's the list: race, color, sex, age, religion, disability, origin, or other non-relevant factors. You're a human being first and foremost, and that's how we're all going to treat each other. There are a couple of things that you have to go through as a student, things that I had to go through to teach, the classes and things, and so be aware, and also be kind and be considerate of others, and we'll all be fine. All students have to acknowledge the community commitment. Basically, if you're on campus, wear a mask, wash your hands, use the 6-foot distancing. There are feet and different things on the floors of the buildings. Please don't make this harder for anybody than it has to be. Again, be kind, be considerate, do what you need to do. And then there's the EverFi training, goes on page 5 and 6. I already talked about all this in places that I didn't have to talk about stuff. So, email and texting policy. You can't text me because I'm not a full-time instructor, and everything has to be through the college system, and so I don't have a college system phone or phone number. So email me, It comes straight to my phone, so I will, do as much as I can with that. If you think I'm not treating you fairly or I've missed something horrible and all that, please let me know. Okay. There's a couple of pages down here that talks about low stakes and high stakes and plagiarism. You get all kinds of grace from me. I would like a little bit back. Please be careful about your writing. I'm never going to use your work unless I ask you. I'm not going to, have folks look at your work unless you're plagiarizing. And then we have all bets are off kind of thing. And that's on page 8. Please note at the bottom that you are not allowed to reuse work you turned in for assignments from other classes, no matter what class and no matter what school you took the class at. Recycling work, basically self-plagiarism, is reason for a failing grade. So if you've taken English 112 before and needed to retake it, please start again. Use a different topic. Do not tempt yourself to recycle stuff. I may not recognize it at the beginning, but I can guarantee somebody will eventually. Don't screw your life up that way. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk briefly about, because it's getting way long, is our semester plan. This is a tentative in that here are the things we're going to do. I think this is probably the pacing that we're going to use. We may need to adjust a little bit here and there depending upon how we all stay well or not, what happens weather-wise and all of that, and just how things run. Pay attention to things. Remember that I count weeks as Monday through Thursday, and that will be about how things go. I do set my due times for 11:59 p.m. So Thursdays by 11:59 p.m. That's so it's easy for both of us to see that things are late. Now, in that kind and considerate way, you turn something in at 12:05 a.m. Am I going to count it late? No. But 11:59 is the stated deadline. Now, on May the 10th, which is our last day, you have until May the 10th at noon, 12 o'clock, noon, straight up, to turn in the last reflection. Now, you can turn it in the week before, you can turn it in on Saturday, you can turn it in whenever you want. But I will shut things down at noon. My grades are due in at the college the next morning by 10. So, and there's 35 of you at the moment. So, there's that part. I need to have time to read things and get things done and do math. I like math, actually. It's not that horrible. And there are things called calculators that save my butt all the time. So that's kind of the first day stuff that we would normally do if we were all in the room together. Can't wait for us all to be in the room again together. But here we are, and this is a fairly efficient way to get your education, so I hope you'll take advantage of everything you can. I hope that you do well. I hope that we get along well, that we enjoy each other and enjoy this class as much as we can, since it's a writing class, I know. And also, just keep in mind that we're all impacted by this pandemic, whether we're ill or not, whether we know somebody who's ill or not. Just having to think a little bit more about when we go and where we go and all of that is impactful. And the only good thing I can say is, well, one of the good things is I get to spend more time with my cat. Her name is Hufflepuff. So if you've watched till the end of the video, you have the answer to one of the questions on the syllabus quiz. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your semester is off to a good start. If it's not, email me and I'll try to make it better as much as I can make it better. If it is, hooray, hurrah, and onward we go. Just remember that I'm learning this new LMS, and it might take me a little bit to get things all squared away. Things might change a little bit. I'll try my best not to make anything too jarring. So let me know if things don't work. All right. Have a great day and have a great semester.